and thanks a lot to the Social Democrats for bringing forward this motion, which highlights more aspects of the dysfunctional two-tier health system that exists in a permanent state of crisis. And the problems in healthcare on this island are not accidental, they're not personnel, they are structural problems. They're consequences of years of underfunding of our public health system, of cuts, of privatisation from below, and of neoliberal management. And that neoliberal management seeks every opportunity, and it's demonstrated by the debate today, every opportunity to extract money from people, even from something as essential as healthcare needs, through the application of charges for treatment, the charges for parking in hospitals. And then, to add insult to injury, debt collectors are brought in on the act to extract their cut from ordinary people's requirement for healthcare. We called in our budget statement for the abolition of all inpatient and emergency department charges for public patients. The estimated cost from a PQ for that is €20 million, as part of our proposals for a universal, single-tier, national health service free at the point of use, funded by progressive taxation. The removal of charges is also a Sláintecare recommendation, but the charges nonetheless remain. Deeply regressive, morally bankrupt, they should go. But the HSE doubles down on the inequity of these charges, with patients pursued by debt collectors for unpaid charges. Rachel Murrow, the Director of Advocacy and External Affairs at the Irish Cancer Society, recently said, "The Irish Cancer Society has heard from patients about the distress and anxiety that contact from a debt collection agency chasing payment for hospital charges brings, understandably so. The worries and fears that are naturally brought on by our cancer diagnosis are compounded by this practice, and we want it to end." An Irish Examiner report in December told of Jean Coghlan, who was diagnosed at 48 with breast cancer. She said a death letter followed her out of the hospital after her surgery to remove a tumour. Quote, "As soon as I went home, the bill followed you out from the hospital. Whatever it was, 2-3 nights I stayed. They billed me up to €240 in inpatient charges. As a newly diagnosed cancer patient, you're so angry and your entire existence is all over the place, and you have people chasing you for money. Scandalous." We also learned from the Irish Independent recently that the HSE spent more than €568,000 on debt collectors to pursue patients for unpaid hospital bills during the pandemic. Charges for hospital care are regressive, they're immoral. The HSE must immediately end the use of debt collection agencies to pursue outstanding charges, and all related debts should be cancelled. I also want to refer to the issue of
speaking, please either go outside and have your conversation or be quiet. There's a deputy in possession and you're interrupting. Deputy Murphy, please.
Thanks, Chair. I also want to refer to the issue of parking charges, where it's over 3 years since a €10 per day cap on parking at hospitals was promised. Fianna Fáil went further, they promised free parking, but this regressive tax on ordinary people, on sick people's relatives and friends, faced with inadequate public transport infrastructure, remains in place. According to the Irish Independent, in early January, the HSE generates €12 million per annum from car parking charges. It can be €15 a day in James's and the Mater, in $14.50 at St Vincent's. Hospital parking charges were abolished in recent years in Scotland and Wales, and they should be abolished here. It is time for the government to stop charging for essential healthcare, to stop charging for transport to access to it, to stop harassing cancer patients and others with debt collectors. They have more than enough to be dealing with. So we support the motion and thank the Social Democrats for bringing it forward.